All right, hey everybody, it's Hop's Metal Show. It's Hopper.
Mike Hardesty.
We're high school buddies. We're gonna do a show here today on Ratt, and I figured what better person to do Ratt than the Rat Man himself from high school. So, and also we're shooting this one here at Broadway Co-working. If you're wanting to do a green screen show, give Eugene Bear a call and he'll hook you up. He's got some good stuff going on in this joint. But anyway, let's get back to Ratt. What got you into Ratt? When did you get into Ratt?
I got into Ratt on the Out of the Cellar album. I remembered actually at the time, the first song I ever heard was Round and Round. It was in the back of my parents' car. My brother at the time was into hard rock and stuff, and I really wasn't. I was into a lot of pop and stuff, believe it or not, then. And I think we had like one Sony Walkman. And if we bought a tape, he would listen to a song and I would listen to a song. And he let me listen to Round and Round. And that was the first time I remember ever hearing him. He's like, listen, this song was pretty good. And I liked it. And then for some reason I really got out of the pop thing and started going into the hair metal stuff. And I don't know, I liked Piercy's voice. I just got into that Out of the Cellar album, and then I was just an instant fan. I was a huge. Everybody that knew me in school knew I was just I was a big Ratt fan. So that's what got me into him.
Do you remember Brian Hess having that Ratt coat, the
Yes.
silk coat?
Yes, I remember.
I thought about that the other day. And Darren Dove, they were all the metalheads.
Yeah,
they were before me.
Yeah, I remember. They were running around John C. Myers.
Yeah,
the metalheads of John C. Myers.
Yeah, they were, because I was almost there. I mean, I guess once I get into mental health. But my introduction to Ratt, man, I got thinking, I think I'm going to be later than you. I think You're in Love might be the first one I'd heard, because I listened to this. I was talking to Griever, this radio station called Q94 out of Kaiser, West Virginia. They played Motley Crue, and they played Kicks. And that was the first two. And then Invasion of Privacy come out. So they had a top 5 at 10. And they played You're in Love, I think was the first song they released. And I was like, man, this song rocks. And then I went back and I'm like, golly, that album ain't nearly as good as this album. So that was kind of my thing. But we're going to go ahead and talk about all the albums, pick 2 songs off each album. So they actually had an EP. I don't know how many people know about this EP. It's self-titled. And I think it's actually Tawny Kitane's Legs.
I have no idea whose Legs it is.
I think that's what a guy had told me. And see, that her and Rob Crosby moved to L.A. together. I forget what state they went to high school together, or what city, because I think she was a cheerleader. But it's produced by Liam Sternberg and released on July 1983. And I went with Sweet Cheater and You Think You're Tough, which that video rocks.
Oh, yeah.
You Think You're Tough.
You Think You're Tough's probably that's the most popular song, actually, from this album. You Think You're Tough and You Got It were my 2 favorites on this album. But a lot of people don't know Back for More, which turned out to be a huge hit on Out of the Cellar, was actually on this album. And I don't know, at the time, I know when I was actually looking some stuff up, I didn't even know this, that I don't know if it was he played on this album or not, but Jakey Lee was actually in Ratt at one point.
Yeah,
Did he play on this album?
He said he did a breakdown. I don't know. I heard an interview here a couple weeks ago where he had actually had actually contacted Jakey and said, "Is it all right if I use your part of whatever song it was?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why would I be?" But yeah, I forgot about Jakey Lee. Did you know that Warren actually went and watched Jakey Lee play, all the time?
No.
And when Jakey got the Ozzy gig, or was that even before that? I guess that would have been before that.
Yeah.
But Jakey recommended Warren and said, there's this young kid that's phenomenal on guitar, which turned out, man, he's Ratt's sound.
Right. I remember Scott Heingardner let me borrow this cassette. I didn't even know they had a first album or whatever, and he told me about it. He let me borrow this cassette, and I'll never forget when I popped in when I heard Sweet Cheater the first time. I thought, my goodness, that's a good song. But anyway, Yeah, a lot of people probably don't even know about this
Yeah.
album. Other than You Think You're Tough, they heard that somewhere, saw that video.
And probably because that video's got Nikki and Tommy's in the video. Ozzy's wearing that dress. I don't know what he's got with all the time wearing dresses, but so I guess we'll go to the next album, Out of the Cellar, which Mike just talked about how great that album is. Produced by Buell Hill, and of course, it was their biggest song come off this album, but probably not my. There's so many good ones. When me and you talked about this album the other day, man, you know how hard it was to pick 2 songs off this album.
Oh,
I mean, I went with Wanted Man and Back. I'm actually glad that they redone Back for More because the version on Out of the Cellar is so awesome with the acoustic intro. Wasn't that the one they released the video and it was in like a cafe or something?
yeah.
But yeah, that's Out of the Cellar. It's a great album. I don't even know how you can even not say anything bad about that album.
It was still Randy Hartman's what he always says. This right here was a masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
This was a masterpiece. My favorite songs wasn't even any that were ever released. I'm Insane is definitely my favorite song on this album. That's one of the first. I do all my stuff now, like I told you, on my phone. That was one of the first songs I downloaded on my phone. Was I'm Insane. The Morning After is another just kicking fast song. She Wants Money. That's another great song. You know, the videos, of course, what was Wanted Man. Remember they were all
the Cowboys. Remember Bobby catches that bullet?
Yeah,
And he's teeth there at the end.
And then and Round and Round, Round and Round was a good song.
Milton Berle.
Yeah, Milton Berle was in it, and then Warren went through the ceiling, and all those. Remember that they raised that thing like rats went all around the table and everything. But yeah, this right here was, and I don't know, like I put on your page. Like, I don't know if this is a sophomore album or not, since that's an EP. This got overlooked. I did not know how Out of the Cellar got overlooked. But anyway, this right here was just, you know, if you were in this type of music, everybody had this.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had this.
That's why we put it, you know, as it was one of the 4. I mean, there's up there with Shout at the Devil and Stay Hungry and Mental Health. I mean, it was just, yeah, you had to own it. Pyromania. Yeah, and I'm thinking that's Tawny Katane. I'm pretty sure
That's who that is. I'm about 99% positive that's who it is. That's back when she was hot.
Yeah. And in case y'all don't know, she's the White Snake girl. That's all you got to say. She's the girl rolling around on Here I Go Again. But she was dating Robin Crosby, which is the other lead. I guess they split lead duties then. But he was the other lead guitarist in Ratt. So then we go to July 1985, produced by Buell Hill again, Invasion of Your Privacy. Which, this was my first one, and this one, I don't know. I like to dig deep for tracks, kind of like what you did on Out of the Cellar. But man, You're in Love is just such a great opening song. The riff and everything. And I had, you know, then I went with What You Give Is What You Get. But, I mean, I could have picked more. Lay It Down. Was Between the Eyes. You Should Know By Now. Dangerous But Worth the Risk. I mean, everything on this is good. This is almost as good as Out of the Cellar, in my opinion. And I noticed that Burl Company, and I'm thinking that, isn't Milton Berle related to Warren D. Levine?
Yeah, he was related to one of them. I can't remember. I used to know. I can't remember which one he was related to now. But, yeah, that's how he ended up in the Round and Round video.
Yeah. And he was he in anything else or just that?
I think just that. He played that woman and he played that guy in the video. I remember that.
But yeah, that was Invasion of Privacy.
This
great album.
This, in my opinion, was like if you're gonna follow up Out of the Cellar, I thought on this album here they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
You're in Love, like you said, is my all-time favorite Ratt song. You're in Love is one of those songs like when you got a good song. You know a good song because when you hear it, you got to turn it up.
Yeah.
You're in Love's a song you got to. If you ever seen Spinal Tap, you got to take it to 11.
Yeah.
Past 10. You got to take it to, and you got to leave it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, there's no turning it
it's
down.
not one of the songs where you can turn it down halfway through. Every time You're in Love comes on, you know, I just crank it up. And Dangerous But Worth the Risk is probably my second favorite song on here. I know I've seen a bunch of videos of them live. I never saw Ratt live. There's twice I was supposed to see him, and things happened. I didn't get to see him. And I was actually going to try to see him back in September out in Vegas, but we left the same day. They were doing a free show on Fremont Street, so I didn't get to see him. Dude. But anyway, I'm sure Piercy, I've seen some of his later stuff. It's pretty rough.
You're better off that. But, just kind of leave it there.
But they opened up with Dangerous Worth the Risk on a handful of their, tour. And then another thing I thought about is Ratt never fell into the ballad thing, where they always had to have a ballad. Closer to My Heart is probably about the closest ballad they ever wrote, to be honest with you, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Every album you always had to have a ballad. You always had to have a ballad that you could dance in slow dances with at high schools and put hands in pockets and all that other stuff. Nobody really ever heard that one too much. But it was a good song. And once again, this was another great follow-up album to something that you weren't disappointed when you got it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was, and I don't know, you can argue till you blue in the face whether is that considered a sophomore or, we're not sure if we consider the EP. If anybody wants to comment and wants to put up their argument, there's that comment section down here we always talk about. But so next comes out 1986, which, I mean, only a year later, and we've already got another masterpiece, I think. Dancing Undercover, produced by Beulah Hill again. Why mess with it if it's not broke? Don't fix it. And actually, this album, it might be one of my favorites now. All these years later, West Dove, when I was running around with him, played this thing constantly, and I couldn't figure out why until a couple times running around with him, he'd have it in, and it was like it became one of my favorites too. It was like, such a great album that I still love it to this day. And pick two songs, Slip of the Lip and Body Talk, which Body Talk was actually was it Golden Child soundtrack?
Golden Child, yeah.
But I mean, Dance, One Good Lover, She Drives Me Crazy, Looking for Love. Was Looking for Love a ballady? I can't think right offhand.
No, Looking for Love is not. Actually, that is probably one of my favorite songs on that song there. Actually, it rocks pretty good. They, on that tour, opened with that song. I know some because I've seen some videos of them opening with Looking for Love. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was a pretty rocking tune.
But yeah, I mean, every track on here is solid, I think. And it's still, I mean, they're still knocking it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this is another great, good album in my opinion. Body Talk was with in the Golden Child, and what was it? Nobody Rides for Free. Invasion.
No, that's actually 81-91. See, that was the only song.
That's right. I was trying to think Yeah, that's right, because that was on. We'll get to that. That was in Point Break.
Yeah.
But anyway, I probably did that a little too soon there.
Well, that's all right.
Looking for Love, yeah, it's one of my favorite songs on here. Slip of the Lip is probably my second favorite song on here. Enough and Enough kind of had that slow start, but then kind of picked it up. And that was another really good song. But once again, when you're following up to
to them two masterpieces.
Yeah, I remember going to Musicland and getting this.
Was it Chris Musicland? Was she running the store then?
I don't know. I remember getting
We always give Chris props. Love you, Chris.
Okay, well, if she did, then thank you. I remember going and went. I couldn't drive. I remember Chip Driver took me up there, and we got this album, or I got it, and I took my stereo with me, because it didn't have cassette in his vehicle.
So we were. Are you still on cassettes?
Oh
at this point?
I didn't even get into CDs till the '90s, right. But and I remember taking my radio just so I could listen to it on the way home, so I wouldn't have to wait till I got home. But yeah, this was a great. And then I remember my brother went with his girlfriend to the beach and went and saw them. And he knew I was a big Ratt nut. And he didn't tell me he got tickets. He went and saw them, Poison and Ratt. Poison opened up for Ratt. And when he got back from the beach, I remember I came home and he'd left a Dancing Undercover shirt laying on my bed, which was really cool, but I was pretty jealous I got to see him. But anyway.
That was a big tour.
Yeah.
I remember Because Poison were just hitting the scene, because they were the opening act.
Right.
I don't even know. I guess they made it through the whole tour without exploding, becoming super huge. Because I guess they only had. Did they only have one album?
That was just Look What the Cat Dragged.
So they probably wouldn't have had enough to headline.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that was super. They even said something about that in here that about that tour during this era. But let's talk about seeing them live. So now we go to 1988 with Reach for the Sky, which is the tour I saw them on. Me, Travis Rogers, and remember Slim, Wetzel, and Mike Wetzel, and Steve Good. I ordered tickets for Ratt, and I'm not going to mention any names. People backed out, said they couldn't go. My mom was mad. She got 5 tickets, and me and Stevie was the only ones that could go. So I had to come up with all this money. So Travis Rogers had U.S. history, and I was like, dude, I got 3 tickets for Ratt tonight. Are you interested? He's like, yeah, I'm interested. I was like, can you get rid of the other 2? He's like, yeah, let me make a phone call at lunch, because we had to use payphone. We didn't have cell phones. So he called Mike Wetzel and Slim, and we ended up going to see Ratt. So we went to this tour. And the funny story I always tell everybody, this is the very first show I went to, was to see Ratt. I saw them, Kix, and Brittany Fox. Well, when they got done, I was like, man, I can't believe they didn't play Round and Round. That's their biggest song. How does Ratt not play Round and Round? So we were leaving, we walk out. As soon as we walk out, the doors, Roanoke Coliseum closed. We hear them come back out. I didn't know bands done encores. I'd never been to a show before. So I missed Round and Round the first time I saw Ratt, because believe me, that was the last time I ever missed an encore. But it couldn't believe it, because we had talked to, I think it was Leslie Holvey. I talked to her next day in U.S. history, and her boyfriend took her, and she said they must have come in and played 5 or 6 more songs.
Is that right?
And Round and Round was one of them. But enough of blabbing about this album. But I went with I Love I Want a Woman. Great entering song. But when I listen to this, I think it kind of drops off. Reach for the Sky compared going from Dance Undercover to Reach for the Sky. It's still good. And then I went with Don't You Bite the Hand That Feeds You. But I mean, Way Cool Jr.'s an awesome song. I just didn't want to try to dig a little deeper.
I remember I got out of school at 1 or 1:20 or something, because I was supposed to go to work. But I never had to be at work until 5.
Was that at IGA?
No.
Randy Hartman talks about it.
It was
IGA?
no. It was Jamesway. I worked at Jamesway, stock boy. So I never had to be at work until 5. So I always got out of work or school at 1:20. And the day this came out, I went straight once again to Musicland and got it. And I remember popping it in, and I remember City to City coming on. And I came all the way back up 81, and I had the radio at 11 again. But I thought it was a good album. I liked it. Of course,
You were big
I
into
couldn't.
them.
Yeah, I couldn't really. I can't really be
think-
impartial when it came out. The Bottom Line, that was one of my favorites on here, and Chain Reaction. I really like Chain Reaction a lot. That was good. I Want to Love You Tonight, I guess was kind of like, I guess I said about the ballad. It was kind of like the ballad thing. I liked Way Cool Jr. and I Want a Woman and everything. I always liked the video to I Want a Woman because it was live.
See, and that's what the show was like.
I always liked live videos. The only problem I had with I Want a Woman was, did you ever see those chicks they had at the end? Remember they would show girls that was at the concert? Well, there was never any good looking ones. I was like, they were big. Ratt was an arena band.
Yeah.
I mean, they were an arena band. They weren't made for bars.
Had bars.
Oh, they should have had some smoking hot chicks at least showing it was going to their shows. But those girls they had there was pretty rough. And then I remember talking with Jason Hughes the first time we saw Way Cool Jr. talking about that girl in the bathroom scene. And the bathroom scene was the best in Way Cool Jr. But I thought this was a good,
Was Way Cool Jr. the one? Is that the one where the girls got the guitar on the back?
Yes, yeah.
At the end of the video?
Yeah.
That's a pretty hot scene there, too.
Yeah, but I remember we was talking about the bathroom scene. That was pretty cool. But this was a good album. One thing, when I was going back look at this, if you look at something, they released an album in '83, 84, 85, 86, and then it was only a 1 year lapse to this in 88. That's back when bands or artists, they released songs they released albums almost every year. Like, you always had something to look forward to, you know.
Well, they had the record companies pushing them too and all that stuff.
But especially to crank out what they cranked out.
Good albums.
In 84, 85, 86, was it in 4 years? You know, they cranked out 4, good albums. Like I said, Reach for the Sky, I liked it, but it was probably falling off a little bit then. But it was still a good album. It was. Like, it was one of the albums you put in and listen to it, and you really didn't get very tired of it. I know I wore it out. You know, I was still on cassettes then. I know I wore that out.
I know
I liked it.
When I talked to you about doing this show, I mean, I don't know about you, I went back and listened to stuff, and I loved it. I mean, it was like I was really looking forward to this, to talk about Ratt, because, I mean, I still like this stuff probably just as good as I did, in high school. When I listen to Ratt, I still enjoy Ratt.
It's like Griever said at the Guns N' Roses thing, was it takes you back to a time. Music takes you back to a fun time. I mean, back when all this stuff was, all we had was high school, and you got your gas money. Yeah. You maybe go down to KJ's and get a donut before. Yeah, or was it Bear's Bakery or something? Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Is could you make it in time to get a donut or something before school? I mean, it just took you back to a
carefree time. Yeah, and I agree with that, because it's like you can hear songs, and you can some songs, and you can remember exactly what you was doing.
Oh, just like I told you, I remember popping that tape in with Chip. I remember first time I heard Round and Round. I don't know why, I just do. I remember shoving in, listening to City the first time, coming back. My God, that was what? How long have we been out of school? Almost 30 years.
Yeah,
now?
Almost 30.
Oh,
we better not get into too
much.
Old. We're going to depress ourselves. We won't be able to get through the show.
Old.
So, all right. So in August 1990, it was produced by Sir Arthur Payson. I looked him up. And some people are saying that's Desmond Child, and I don't know if you know who Desmond Child is.
Yeah, I know who he is. I didn't know he went by another name.
Writing with, and they're saying that's the same person. Which it says Desmobile Productions. So it's kind of weird but some people claim it's not Desmond Child, and some people claim it is. But this was Detonator, and this was their Dr. Feelgood. I mean, that's when this era was. I think if it would have been even more huge if it would have come out a little bit earlier. Because this is when Crosby's drug use is super bad. And, I think they had all kinds of trouble with him touring, and they was cutting out parts of songs. Like here it says, they took the acoustic intro back from more just because he was so trashed that he couldn't even play it. And they said the final straw was they did a song, and tuning was completely, he had the wrong guitar.
I've heard that story.
And that was the final straw. But man, it's still a solid album, even coming in at 1990. What was this? 88.
Yeah. 88, so it's 2 years later.
Yeah, and they're still putting out good stuff. I mean, I went with Loving You's Dirty Job, and then this is their ballad, Giving Yourself Away. I think it was just a little too late, but I think that might have been a big song for them. As far as that was that was probably the closest thing to them having a huge ballad. That's what they get. But that's a good album, too.
I like Shame, Shame, Shame. I like the guitar intro to that. That's one of my favorites on here. I like Can't Wait on Love and Scratch That Itch. They were kind of a tie for second for me. But I thought this was a good album. I'm like you. Like, this was a good album. Part of what hurt this album, in my opinion, was Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
And Kurt Cobain and all them. And I like some Pearl Jam and Nirvana and stuff. Some of the stuff was pretty good. But that's when that grunge scene was, man, it was at 90. That grunge scene was taking over. Flannel shirts were taking over. Everybody's up on stage staring at the floor.
They took away our fun bands. I mean,
yeah, and that's when all these bands started. Really, that was the decline of for some reason people didn't want to hear this type of music anymore. No. Even our generation. I guess that's right. Even then, we were still worried about being cool when we only been out of school for a few years. But you know, I remember this came out. I went straight up, and I don't even know, was it Musicland then?
Yeah,
Or had it
probably.
changed? I bought this one at Musicland. This was another cassette. I remember buying this on cassette. I remember listening to it going down the road, and I liked it. I liked the whole album. I didn't think it was out of the cellar or anything like that. But it was a good album. It was good to hear some good new music from him. And I'm a catchy tune guy. And Heads I Win, Tails You Lose. It was John Bon Jovi, I think, sang backup.
Yeah, I think I did read that.
And on that one, so I liked it. It was a good album. This was the last good album.
Yeah,
they had it.
But I mean, I'll say, love the album. Might be a good time. We did the list off Hop's Hard Rock Heavy Metal page, asking everybody what their favorite Ratt songs is. So I'm gonna let the guest over here read the list.
Carl Kruger, Like to Lay It Down. Jerry Lambert and Darren Dove boasted lack of communication. Randy Hartman, Wanted Man. Esther Graham Scholl.
Yeah, I think so.
Dance. Jerry Bowman, You're in Trouble. Which You're in Trouble, I remember for some reason right back then I really was into You're in Trouble too. That was a really good song. Lack of Communication.
See, and they're all
John Helbron. Right. Mike May, Body Talk. Amanda Riggleman, Giving Yourself Away. Kara Griffin, What You Give Is What You Get. Jason Klein, Round and Round.
And that was the first video he's seen.
Oh,
Friday night videos, you did that.
Oh man, Friday night videos. What time did that come on? Midnight?
Yeah, but it was like pre-MTV. We didn't even know MTV.
Yeah. No. And videos, of course, are a thing of the past too. Derek Tyree, Nobody Rides for Free. Steve Good, Slip of the Lip. Larry Yankee, Round and Round. Dee Dee Price, Shame, Shame, Shame. Danny Crider, so just pick one. So your favorite song's going to be Sweet Cheer. We'll just go all the way back to the very first song on the EP.
That'll work. But yeah, that was the list. And I'm sure even them people, you can't tell me you can pick one song. It's probably just, you ask them tomorrow, they might all name a different song.
Right, that's right.
But I guess we're going to go with, I don't know if this come out before 81, 91. I'm guessing it did. Paperwork, oh no, it didn't.
It was released in 97, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 81, 91 was the greatest hits. The only reason I'm going to say anything about this was Nobody Rides for Free.
Yeah, and we already talked about that. That was in Point Break. That was a good song.
It was a good song. But it was the first song, the first Ratt video was made without Ron Crosby.
No, was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what they had said in here. And, and you kind of look at Ratt, man, we was talking about this album. That's the last album Rob Crosby's on. And you wonder if he was the glue that held it all together.
Well, I think anytime you take some of these bands, if you remove one piece of that puzzle, I don't care who you replace them with, sometimes it's just that magic's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody talks about Crosby and Crew. That was a good album. But, me personally, I was Vince. Yeah, I like Vince there. Yeah, that was Motley Crue. Crosby, that was the Motley Crue album with Crosby was good.
Oh, it's a damn good album.
Steve Clark, Vivian Campbell filled in, but in my opinion, after Hysteria, I mean, what did they? I mean, they had some good albums, but they never had anything.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
never.
Bon Jovi. You say what you want to about them, but after whatever happened with that, was it Alec John Such or whatever? They still had hits and still did all this, that, and the other, but you never had another. You never had another New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take a certain piece out of certain bands, when they've been that great for that long, I don't think you can replace the magic. You just can't replace that magic on stage. You can't replace the magic in the studio, and you can just tell. I saw, you was talking Crew Fest 2. Tommy didn't play.
Yeah.
And it was good. The music was the same, but in my opinion, I could tell something was missing. He came out and talked to the crowd, and did his typical Tommy Lee stuff, but he wasn't back there, spinning the sticks and everything like that.
I forgot about that too.
But but it was almost like, there's a little piece of that puzzle that just something just a little bit off kilter there. And then of course, you got Kiss.
We ain't even gonna get that. We'll get Randy stirred up.
But anyway, that's just my opinion. I might be wrong. Other people might think,
No, but you're probably
otherwise,
right. And
but-
Metallica, I mean.
Oh yeah, Metallica.
You know, Jason, I ain't not knocking Jason, but man, you take, the Cliff Burton stuff, but we could probably go on and on.
Yeah, Adler, GNR.
Yeah.
Yeah, GNR did a lot of good stuff, but there was never another Avatar.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'll ever, you can never capture that magic again.
No.
All right, so we're going, I guess, the first reunion, self-titled, or no. I guess this come out before the self-titled did. Or, well, we'll go ahead and talk about this album anyway. There was a album called Collage that was released in '97. It was demos and stuff from early Stephen Pearcy, Warren D. Martini. It was actually produced by them too. I mean, I went with Dr. Rock and Mother Blues. The stuff's, you could tell it's old. I mean, you could tell it's wrote early. I wish it was produced a little bit better, but I mean, I pulled them 2 songs. I don't know if you.
I listened to it. There was nothing. That Mother Blues reminded me of Way Cool. Was it? Yeah, I think it was Way Cool Jr. I just didn't like the way it sounded, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I just thought it was
production's horrible.
Yeah, it was awful. It was, I think Carl and Gabe and them do sound better in the metal shit than anything on here. The stuff that they put on.
But that's that's the stuff we're missing now, though. The big productions, because the record companies don't push the bands, and because we're streaming music or doing whatever. And I'm guilty of it, just like everybody else. But
Steel River wasn't bad, but I mean, there was nothing that was like, my gosh, that's a good song.
Yeah.
And like, I think if the production would have been better, I think they could have tweaked some stuff.
I think they could have too. But in this time era, and music's really weird when this comes out. Kind of like this album, which this one come out. Not sure when this come out. But anyway, Travis Rogers, I told him I wasn't much on this last time I hung out for you. He's like, man, you really ought to go back and listen to that and give it a shot. He's like, there is some good stuff on there. And I went back and listened to it, and it's decent. I can't even find what I wrote down, but I mean, Live for Today, I think, and Dead Reckoning was the 2 songs. 2 tracks I'd picked off that. They're 4-piece there.
Yeah, that's Robbie Crane, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I listened to it. It was one of the things that something was missing.
Yeah.
Live for Today was okay. But I mean, like, it was one of the things I wasn't too. And when did this come out? Because when did Bobby start going nuts?
It's after that.
Okay, with the whole Ratt experience and all that
Yeah.
garbage. But yeah, this is. And by then, I think they'd lost their magic, and I'm sure, they had to do some stuff in the studio to help Piercy's voice by then. I'm sure it was just.
Oh,
definitely,
yeah. I mean, it was 99.
Yeah, I mean,
when
his
this come
voice
out.
isn't definitely what it would have been live back
Yeah.
in an Invasion or Dancing Undercover days. I don't really get the cover.
I'm
I
not sure
understand
what's
it.
going on with the cover.
Either. I
But
don't
see,
know what these guys are on the side here.
On a little side note, Joe Colander produced this. Actually, there was 3 albums that come out at the same time that were done by him. One was Great White, which I can't remember the name of that album right now, but it is a really good album. I don't know if you like Great White. I think it's the all original lineup. It's really good. And Kiss's Psycho Circus, I think, come out about the same time as this. But
See, but even then, that type of music's just not.
yeah,
And when people go see them live, they don't want to hear anything off that
yeah,
album.
you want to hear all this early
Right?
stuff.
Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that.
But then, see, that come out in 99, and then 2001, Robin Crosby announces he's got HIV positive, which I don't know if you ever seen him after that, but he got huge.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
I
he
did. I saw
swelled
some
up.
documentary stuff. I saw him trying to play in something in a studio, and
Is that the very last solo he ever done?
yeah, I saw that, and
watched
he
it.
was he blew way up. I mean, he was looked like a bloated tick just about.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough.
And then June 6th, 2002, he died from a heroin overdose. He was 42 years old. Then we go on through to Infestation, which great album. I think it's a great album for a comeback album and I think Saints of Los Angeles is a good comeback album by The Crew. But I'd put this right up there with it. I don't know. Did you ever listen to Infestation?
Yes, actually, the song "Best of Me" is on my playlist. Like that was a good song.
Yeah.
You know, I think this was a good album. Last Call's not bad, but that "Best of Me" was a really good, catchy song. Like I liked that song. They even did a video for that song. I
Yeah.
don't know if you ever saw it or not. The magic's not there anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
But Carlos played on that.
Yeah,
and
I
I
did
thought
know
he
that.
did a great job. For just having to. I mean, you'll never fill Rob Crosby's shoes.
No.
But
no.
I think that was a wise move by them. Somebody from the same era and has been around the scene and.
But the album wasn't bad. You know, people that were into hair metal back then would be the only people that listened to it.
Yeah.
Nobody, there's not going to be play anywhere
No,
else.
you're
you
not
know. But it was good to hear something fresh. And like I said, I did enjoy that. I do enjoy that "Best of Me" song. Is still, when I do the shuffle play, it'll pop up, and I like listening to it.
Yeah, and I mean after this is when it gets what you was talking about with Bobby Blotzer and.
Yeah, he does that Ratt. It was the Ratt experience. And see, now Warren's out of the band. You know.
Here, just to give you an idea of what's going on, there is all the people that have been through Ratt. LA Guns is the only band that has probably more members because then you're splitting off. I didn't even know that. The guy from Bullet Boys, that's the dude from the lead singer of Bullet Boys, played guitar in '82 for Ratt. I didn't know that. But they went through quite the members. And then Kerry Kelly even played with them some point in time. And he's played with Alice Cooper. I think he's playing with Night Ranger now. But he does a really good job. But yeah, after this, it got really crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous now. And me and String saw them M3 a couple years ago. I couldn't even stand to watch it.
I saw your video on there. You videoed something you put on on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it was pretty rough.
Oh, it was horrible. I told Chris, because he didn't even want to see him because he figured it was going to sound bad. And I was like, man, let's just listen to a couple songs. And we got through 2 songs, and I'm like, I'm ready to roll. I'd done heard enough.
They headlined, didn't they?
Yeah.
They headlined one of the nights.
And we went to leave, and Nobody Rides Free was coming on. I was like, man, I love this song. So he's like, well, we'll just hang out here a little bit. And I heard Steven start singing. I was like, we can go.
Really?
it's kind of like when you go see Motley. I
Yeah.
mean, you just hope everybody else, Nikki can put on and Tommy can put on a show to cover up for Vince. Speaking of that, I was talking to String today, and we was talking about Ratt, and I was comparing Ratt to Motley Crue, and how Motley Crue were survivors, and Ratt had so much chaos, and I think at the end of the day, Nikki Sixx runs Motley Crue. It's all Nikki Sixx, 100%. He is the only chief in that band. Now, Ratt, you have 3 chiefs in Ratt, and they can't get along. I mean, you got Bobby Warren and Stephen Pearcy, and
Why wouldn't you want to go see him without Warren?
yeah.
I mean,
Why?
why would you? I mean, you know what I mean? Why would you do that?
Yeah. But, even when we saw him, Warren sounded out of key. I mean, he didn't.
looks pretty rough now. Well, my golly, they all look rough.
Yeah, that's true.
They've had some hard lives, and I'm sure their veins are about collapsed and everything now.
Yeah, and we're gonna have we're in a green screen, so we'll have some good artwork up behind us. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug Broadway Co-working, letting us shoot up in their building. Like I said again, give Eugene Baird a call if you're interested in maybe doing some green screen stuff, or just he's got a couple offices in here if you got any business to take care of. It's Hopper,
Mike Hardesty.
We're gonna sign on out of here. Peace.